Let me teach you the secrets to Libram Paladin so you can win games just like this. Hey, what's up? I'm Ken, and today's video will revolve all around Libram Paladin, mulligans, how to build the deck, tech choices, and a little bit of gameplay. So if you want to see the gameplay, you can skip ahead in the timestamp, but for now, this is the deck list. As always, you can find the deck list in the info description below. This is my particular list. Libram Paladin revolves around a couple synergies. Obviously, you want to play Libram, so we got Libram of Clarity, Libram of Divinity, and Interstellar Wayfarer, as well as Interstellar Star Slicer to discount the Librams. Now, a lot of people say that Interstellar Wayfarer is a bad card, and guess what? It is a bad card, but it is integral to the game plan. What most people fail to tell you is that if you really want the value of Librams, Libram of Divinity has to cost 0. If not, in many matchups, you're just not getting enough value. And the only way to consistently allow for that to happen is to play Interstellar Wayfarer. You need Interstellar Wayfarer so that you're able to get your third or fourth discount onto the Libram of Divinity. That is the only other synergy that's necessary. You'll notice that Yrel is not in here, even though she gives you those 3 ancient Librams. Those ancient Librams are just not good enough. All you need to win in many matchups is a board and, overwhelm them with your Libram of Faith units and some Libram Divinity buffs, or you need Sunsapper Lynessa to give you a crazy hand of value, or find lethal with Holy Glow Sticks. So we're going to get into a couple of gameplay footage right now. Alright, here's the first game against Death Knight. Death Knight is the deck or archetype that's gaining popularity because of the rise of aggressive decks like Pirate DH and Token Shaman. So mulliganing wise against aggressive decks, and in this matchup you want to get on the board early. So Miracle Salesman is something I would mulligan for in aggressive decks, as well as the 2/1 Divine Shield Horse, but most of the time you're hard mulliganing for Interstellar Star Slicer as well as Instrument Tech to get the Star Slicer, because activating your Librams early is the best way to kind of close out games. It takes you a few turns to get the discounts here. So we have a lucky hand. We're able to get 2 of the Star Slicers, which means we'll be able to get the Libram of Divinity to 0 relatively quickly in the next 2 turns. And there's, Ethereal Arcanist, one of just the strongest cards in the set, if not the strongest card. I'll be releasing a video talking about the best cards in the set now that we've got more than a month into it. But here you go. So we're 1 activation away from discounting our Interstellar Star Slicer, or I'm sorry, our Libram of Divinity to 0. And this is like best case scenario situation. You get the weapon early in the game twice, and you're able to get the 4 discounts. That is not always the case, and that's where something like the Wayfarer comes into play. And obviously the Wayfarer doesn't look that great here because we didn't need it, but it is a good drop, and it adds consistency to a deck that is missing that, okay? So here you go. Now we have the Divinities, and our goal is to play them every turn. Our opponent is doing his darndest to stay alive, but if we really wanted to, we could actually play Lynessa here to add more of those Libram of Divinities to our hand. But no, we have a lot of creatures left in the deck. We don't want to mulligan them, so we just want to keep building our board. So now we have this Divine Shield board with creatures that are a little big and a little difficult to deal with, and our opponent is going to struggle to clear them. All right, so as is the case with Death Knight and big creatures like vertical tall boards. And this is what you want to typically do with this deck, is you want to go very tall unless there's a lot of taunts, in which case you want to obviously go super wide so you can clear taunts. But anyway, here we go. We're just gonna play out a more you should play the shield guy when your hand is full, and save your other creatures for later in the game. You should try to get out the Divine Shield 4/6 as soon as possible. And here, this is just too much. Our opponent this board is too wide, too much stuff on there. He can't really deal with it. They have Divine Shield. That's gonna mess up things like Threads of Despair. He's in a tough spot, right? So you can clear it here. He knows. So yep, he's confused. He thought he'd be able to get the clear. But nope, that's not how it works, and we are gonna move on to the next game. Remember, like I said, you should always mulligan for the Star Slicer or the Instrument Tech. In this video, we're going to go 3 times speed just because this is a relatively longer game, and this will be the last game we look at. And this game is versus Armor Warlock, which is kind of a new archetype that people are trying to play. I don't know if it really is that good, but the problem with this deck is against, once they drop Sargeras is really one of those strongest like endgame win conditions, because it is an infinite amount of threats that keep coming on. So in a matchup like that, you need to learn how to be able to get over that threat. And I think Sandcastle is probably one of the best cards for that, and Keeper's Strength, which is my tech card of choice. A lot of decks run Prismatic Beam. I don't think Prismatic Beam is good enough. I think Keeper's Strength is more versatile. Yeah, sure, maybe you need a Prismatic Beam against an aggressive matchup and you lose because you don't have it, but for me, that hasn't been much the case that often. I prefer Keeper's Strength. I also am pretty liberal in some matchups with using Holy Glow Sticks as well as the Divine Brew. Divine Brew is good for activating Holy Glow Sticks. It's also good in combination with Linessa, because with Linessa, you'll be able to get the shield +1 damage, or in some cases +2 damage, right, per use. So it's good there. But in this matchup, that's not what I'm looking for. So my opponent, he wants to build a big starship and get a lot of armor and put me out of range to find the lethal. So I have to be as aggressive as possible. I've discounted my Libram to 0, and I have to use that as much as I can so that I can continue to threaten a clock on my opponent. There we play the 4/6 shield, and we have 2 Librams, so that's great. Continue to discount cards, playing Holy Glow Sticks, playing out a Flickering Lightbot. We're going wide because we need to tease him to make a board clear. So we need to force that out at some point. Here, this is just stellar options by my opponent. But unfortunately for my opponent, I just got more stuff going on. So here we go, attacking him, going wide on the board. Like we're just putting the onus on my opponent right now to find the board clear. And he's at 12 health, so I have Linessa. If I find another Holy that he clears with Sargeras, I have Linessa. If I find another Holy Glow Sticks, well, there you go. We don't need it. Keeper's Strength clears the board, and that's pretty much close to GG. You just need to get a little more buffs on the board. Ceaseless comes out, but we're okay. This is not a bad situation. And this is why I like Amethyst, because Amethyst kind of like brings the board parity down. And especially with Libram of Divinity, now your Amethyst is just getting extra work, like she's getting fatter and fatter. So, we're gonna decrease the power of my opponent's board, buff up Amethyst as much as we can, and just hope that he doesn't clear that, because if he clears it with like a direct damage like that, then we're gonna be in a tough situation. And here we are in this tough situation. Adding some friends, there you go, doxing my friends, and here we go, draw on everything, buffing Linessa as much as we can. And now for every double buff, we get an extra Libram. So we used 2 Librams, but we ended up with 4. And if Linessa stays around, we're going to get 8, right? So it is pretty crazy. In the clip that you saw in the beginning of the game, that was from a different game. I was able to get like 9 Librams in hand or 8 Librams in hand, which was insane. But in this game, that is not necessary. Our opponent, he's played the Starship. He thinks the Starship is enough. But what he doesn't know is that Wayfarer allows us to discount that Libram of Faith to 0, giving us Rush and allowing us this kill. So anyway, that is the deck. I think it's awesome. If you enjoy it, give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Peace.